Hello, I'm Claire and this is a video about my surgery for endometriosis. I'll be talking about what type of surgery I had and my recovery. I'll be doing a tips video about pre and post surgery, but for now, let's get into the video. I had my surgery on the 30th of August and prior to this I had a pre-op assessment, which was a blood test, and I had to fill out a bunch of forms. On the operation day, I was told to get to the hospital at 10:30. But I got there a bit earlier because I wanted to have time to settle in. I didn't realise that the hospital tell a bunch of people to get there at a certain time and that they already have an order of who goes down when. I hadn't eaten since 7 p.m. the previous evening and I hadn't had a drink since 10 a.m. the morning of my surgery. I spent the day very thirsty and I had a massive headache. Just before 2 p.m, I was taken into a room where I spoke to my surgeon about the surgery, and I had to sign a consent form which allowed him to pretty much do what he wanted. After that, I was given a gown and a pair of socks to prevent swelling in my legs and a big pair of netted knickers.
Just waiting to get called now, probably another about half an hour. It is now 2 o'clock. I'm starving and I just want it to be over. It's been drawn out way too long.
I saw all the people in my group go down and new people coming in and going before I went. At 6:30 I was finally given a bed and 7 p.m. is when I finally went down for my surgery, and it had been a really long day. I said goodbye to my mum and I was wheeled into this very bright white room where I was going to be given my anaesthetic. The lady who gave me the injection was very nice and sympathetic, but there was another lady who was quite rough with me and trying to get me into a certain position. I didn't understand. I thought we were just meant to lay there, but she was twisting me around and I just couldn't understand what I was doing wrong. And I cried. When I was asked why I was crying, I said, look, I've been waiting for 9 hours and now you're trying to rush me into an operating theatre. This lady hadn't even really looked at me. To her I was just a name on a list rather than a person, but the anaesthetist was nice. I had a laparoscopy, which is where they go through your belly button, fill your cavity with gas to move your organs out of the way and to remove the endometriosis if it's there. I was told that there's a 30% chance they wouldn't find anything, so I'm quite glad they did. I also had a dye test, which is to test the function of your fallopian tubes, and a hysteroscopy, which is where they insert a camera into my vagina to check my cervix just to make sure that it's okay. And during my surgery, I was fitted with the Marina coil. After my surgery, I was extremely drowsy and I could barely see anything, and I was told that I had stage 3 endometriosis, but I don't remember anything else that was said. My surgery took 2 hours, and normally ladies can go home the same day, but because it was quite late, I was kept in overnight. The next day when I woke up, I was still quite heavy from the anaesthetic, but I remember lifting my gown and seeing that my tummy had 3 big bandages on them. My netted knickers were gone, but a pad was underneath me. And a few hours after that, I remember thinking that I should call work and tell them that I was right, that I did have endometriosis, and I went through the conversation in my head. And I was still really drowsy at this point, and I didn't realise that instead of me thinking that I was calling work, that I actually had called work. And I spoke to my friend Leah, who was actually my supervisor, while she was trying to open the shop. Sorry, Leah. It took a while for the drugs to wear off. And I tried to walk to the toilet, but I couldn't because I wasn't strong enough yet. I had no pain, I was just really heavy. And then after this, I started to be sick, and that lasted for quite a long time. When I was finally well enough to be discharged, I couldn't wait to get home, get into my own bed and rest. I still didn't have any pain at this point. And my boyfriend came round in the evening to see me, so that was quite nice. But after Jack had gone, I had pain in my shoulders and my tummy felt like a lava lamp. And it's going to sound really strange, but I still had gas inside me, and every time I breathed, my tummy would flip and it was just awful, and I couldn't get comfy. And I had 3 really bad days where I felt so trapped in my own body.
I'm in quite a lot of pain now. I can't take any more medication until 11:30.
I tried to walk as much as I could to move the gas, but this made me physically sick. All the gas was in my shoulders, and my whole body was almost vibrating, and my chest felt so bruised, and I couldn't eat or drink without being sick. Um, but after a horrendous few days, I began to feel better. I still had no pain, but my tummy was a bit tender and I bled slightly, but that's expected after surgery. But all in all, I'd say it took about 3 weeks for me to feel myself again. I had no complications, and I intended to vlog the whole thing, but I was just too unwell. Although I don't know if there's more that I could have done, I definitely have some tips for people, so keep an eye out for that video. My scars barely visible a year on, and I've only had one incident with bleeding since being on the Marina coil, and I've had no issues at all regarding that. I still get pain, but nowhere near as bad as it was before my surgery. As I say, I'm going to be doing a new video about my tips, and I will be talking more about endometriosis as time goes on. But for now, that is it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe, and in the description below is where you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook.